Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and as you can tell, I've got an extra special guest with me today. This is Phil Lovas, who is running for Congress, the Congressional District 8 here in Arizona. So if you live in the Arizona area, I want to highly encourage you to listen up. What I want to continue to do and do even more on my channel is bring in members that are running for congressional districts all across the country, especially here in Arizona, and bring them in and support what they're doing because we need more swamp drainers.
Yes, absolutely.
To help Donald Trump clean the swamp because he can't do it alone. And I want to support anyone who is standing on that same side. Now, Phil Lovas, if you don't know a lot about him, I'm going to have him introduce himself. But he's a conservative. And, well, let me just give you the table and tell him about who you are.
Well, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate the opportunity to be on the show today. A little bit about me. My background is in business. I've done sales for 20 plus years. But in 2012, I was appointed to the Arizona legislature, served in the Arizona legislature from 2012 through 2017, when at that point I was actually appointed by the Trump administration to a position in the SBA. So I served there into December when I left there to run for Congress, and election day is just around the corner, about 4 weeks from today. So this is a quick special election, about 80 days. And so we've been working very hard, and things are going very well with the campaign. But I'm just excited to be on today and to just talk about the message and talk about all the things that we're doing.
Yes, now I know there is a ton of corruption that has just blown up over the past year, but everything from the fake Russia narrative to the collusion to the FISA memo now. But before I get into that, can you tell everybody a little bit about what you stand for personally and what you would do for the American people here?
Yeah, sure. My platform is pretty simple: drain the swamp and protect America. And by drain the swamp, I mean term limits. I'm a big supporter of term limits. I think if you're going to change Washington, you need to change the culture of Washington. And so what that means to me is, the fact that we have term limits at the state legislature, we have them for governor, we have them for president, we should absolutely have them for Congress. Getting new blood in, new ideas, I think is a very good thing. Ending pensions for members of Congress, that's a big thing to me. When I ran for the state legislature, I got tired of politicians saying one thing and doing another. So one of the first things I did was I turned down a state pension, because how can I complain about more debt at the state level or the federal level if I'm going to take a pension and have the taxpayers pay for me? So I turned that down at the state level, and then the first thing that I did was, when I got into to the legislature, my first full year there, I sponsored the bill which shut down the elected officials' pension plan. So now anybody coming into the system gets a 401k type plan, just like the private sector. So I'm somebody who feels they need to hold the powerful accountable, and if you are in an elected office, whether that's at the state level or Washington, that's something that I want to do. And I think it's also important to make Congress live by the same laws they pass for us. No more opting out of Obamacare, nothing like that. If they pass it, they live with it. And so that's something that I'm very passionate about.
And that's one reason why I love him, because he is very hardcore on that issue. And that's what I'm all for. If we can make them do the same things that the average everyday person does, then I think we're making headway, because then ultimately our laws are going to be better, our regulations here are going to be better, our lives are going to be better, because they have to follow the same rules. When they take themselves out of the equation, the average person suffers. And that's why I think we need to help fund, help support, donate. And I'll leave a link if you guys want to donate.
That'd be great.
It's the Phil Lovas.
It's Lovas, Lovas for FOR Congress.
Lovas for Congress. And you guys can help donate. I've donated to his campaign, continue to do so, and will do so in the future. But if we can support people who have those same ideals and agendas, I think we can definitely make headway in Congress.
Thank you. And I think it's important, too, to send people to Washington that are going to support the president. And we've got a lot of people who will say that they'll support the president. Oh yeah, I love the president. And they just showed up after he came into office, or at a later date. I think the thing that I've tried to make clear in this campaign is that I was with him early on. I was there in 2015, 2016. I was named as campaign chairman in 2016, and then later appointed to the administration in 2017. So I really believe in what he stands for. One of the things that attracted to him was the fact that he was a businessman, and that he was going to think outside the box and not just do the same things that we've always done in Washington. The same way of going about things, the same type of thinking about problems. But this is a whole new way about it, and it's working great. Look what's happening with the economy. It's been fantastic for us.
Yeah, and the economy was horrible under Obama, but it's been getting better. Now, what is your take on just the massive amount of corruption? We've had, Hillary's emails, the emails between Page Strzok or Lisa Page,
right.
Peter Strzok, mix the words there. And then we have, the corruption from the FISA memo. Are these things that you can put, frontal and that you can, target in the future and stand against corruption like that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, these are symptoms of Washington. You look at, the kind of the insider ball game here of what's been happening with the Hillary campaign and McCabe and these folks. And so certainly from my perspective, I think that's, or I should say Peter Strzok, not McCabe, but certainly from my perspective, we absolutely need transparency. We need people who are going to get the word out, let people know what's going on. Now, obviously with the memo, there's the FBI is looking at what to do there in terms of, what comes out, what doesn't. But I think it's important that, we shine a light on these things, and that any kind of, corruption or any kind of, unfairness in the system, that's transparent, and that we know what's going on. I mean, it's our government. We have an absolute right to know. And to me, that's very important to make sure that that word gets out. Absolutely.
And that's, again, why I think, you guys that are listening in and me here, no matter what state you're in, if there are candidates that can stand firm on, conservative principles, on principles that are, standing with Trump, nationalism kind of stuff, then we want to support people like that. So I wanted to encourage you guys, check out Phil Lovas. Can you share the website
information? Sure, absolutely. Lovas, Lovas, for Congress.com, lovasforcongress.com.
And also there's a donation button if you guys want to donate to the campaign as well, and I'll leave all that below. And you also have a newsletter on there.
I do, yep, absolutely. You can go there, check it out, got all the information about me, what I stand for, my beliefs, along with, if you'd love to donate, that would be great. And if you're here in Arizona, you want to volunteer, you want to help the campaign, put a sign in your yard, that is awesome, because the one thing I am focused on is draining the swamp in Washington and helping support the president.
And I say amen to that. Well, thank you again for coming on my channel, Phil.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate it. And I know he drove a little bit of a ways to get out here, so thank you. And thank you guys again for listening in. And again, get politically active. Make sure you're out there. If you can be a precinct committee member, get on that board. Whatever you can do, let's start backing some of our political candidates, because we cannot let the left continue to go where we were under Obama. We have to stand against it, and we have to stand against it now. Well, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, and this is
Phil Lovas.
Signing out. Oh, go ahead.
Candidate for Congress. Phil Lovas, candidate for Congress. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa.
Bye.